Hey, it's Joe AMoia, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. Have you ever been with a guy who's disrespected you? Now, I know you're going, Joe, a guy? I've been with dozens of guys who have disrespected me. Well, if that's you, I want you to pay close attention because today you're going to learn the top 5 ways that guys will disrespect women and that a guy will disrespect you. Now, one of my favorite quotes is, and it's actually one of my own, is realization is the first step towards rehabilitation. What I mean by that is that you have to realize what a problem is before you can fix it. You have to realize that there are signs that of a guy who disrespects you before you get into a relationship. And you have to be able to recognize these signs quickly so that when a guy disrespects you, you give him the opportunity to clean it up once, or you realize that this is a guy who's not a good, healthy relationship partner, and you walk away. No matter how attractive he is, no matter how much you have in common, no matter how great the chemistry is. All right? So let's just get into these. Well, but before I do that, I want you to know that I've got a special gift for you. Because the biggest key with avoiding disrespectful guys is to identify the red flags, the signs. Guys who are disrespectful usually are emotionally unavailable and aren't good relationship partners. So I've actually written a special report that goes a little bit more in detail and explains who these guys are, why they do what they do, and what the red flags are. And that is going to be my gift to you simply for watching this video. But in order to get it, you got to watch to the end. So that's my little tease. That's my way of getting you to watch this whole video, okay? Upfront and transparent about that. So let's just get into the top 5 ways. Number 1 is when a guy is dishonest. What does that mean? Well, it's when he lies. It's when he misrepresents the truth. He makes excuses. Or the worst case scenario is when he's unfaithful. See, when a guy is dishonest, he's not telling you the truth. He's not showing you the truth. He's not giving you what you need at the level that you desire. And one of the biggest ways, and I see it all the time, is these guys who misrepresent the truth or they make excuses. Well, I was too busy. You know what? It wasn't that he was too busy. It's that it wasn't important enough for him to make the time to take you out, to celebrate your birthday, to bring you flowers, to call you, to show up when he said he was going to show up, whatever it is. And if a guy makes excuses and he misrepresents the truth, then that's your way of knowing that, this guy isn't a good relationship partner. So that's the first way. The second way is when a guy treats you like a convenience, not a priority. See, if a guy is going to give you the relationship you desire, if you're at that point in your life, like most of the members of our GPS for Love community, who are done with the toilet bowl relationships, the one that make you feel like crap, you're done with the boys, the guys who are selfish, immature, emotionally irresponsible, and unavailable. You want that good man in that great relationship. Well, if you're with a guy who's treating you like a convenience, that guy is disrespecting you because he's not giving you what you desire. Okay. Now, if you choose to stay with that guy for whatever your reasons, well, then you're disrespecting yourself. And that's just as important. And I believe that's just as hurtful because you have no control over how he respects you, but you have 100% control over how you respect yourself. So very often when a guy is treating you like a convenience and not a priority, he's not going to compromise with you. See, there are 2 people in a relationship. We shouldn't have to talk about this. It's quite common sense. But you can't have your way all of the time, and he can't have his way all of the time. I've been married now with my wife for 15 years, going on 16. And I can honestly say everything has gone my way all the time, and it hasn't gone her way all of the time, especially when you introduce kids into the mix. Your way tends to get put on the back burner. But it's really important to understand is you have to learn to communicate and you have to learn to compromise. And when somebody is treating you like a priority, they're going to make sure that they're communicating with you and they're compromising in a way that they show you that, you know what, you and your feelings are important. So that's the second way. Now, the third way that a guy will disrespect you is that when he invalidates you and your opinion, he treats you like you and your opinion don't matter. This is when, if you don't agree with him and what he thinks you should say or do, he blames you, he makes you wrong, or he criticizes you. This is so detrimental, and it's something I see so often amongst the members of the GPS for Love community, and it breaks my heart because you're a person. You have feelings, you have desires, you have thoughts, you have opinions. And any guy who makes you wrong, who criticizes you, or who blames you because you don't agree with him, that's not a good relationship partner. Again, I try to be very transparent in my relationship with my wife, Natalie. We don't agree on everything. Sometimes we agree to disagree. But I think what makes our relationship so strong is we respect each other enough to try and see it from the other person's point of view, through the other person's experience, through the other person's feelings. And when you do that, and you come from that place of respect and honor, it makes it so easy to be on the same page and ultimately to experience the kind of relationship that you desire in your heart. So the third way, again, is when a guy invalidates you and your opinion. Now, the fourth way that a guy will disrespect you is when he treats you like an object, not a person. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You're just nothing but a piece of meat. You're nothing more than somebody just to occupy some space and some time in this guy's life when he wants you to. And it's all about him and you're an object. Another way this shows up is a guy who's solely focused on the physical appearance of a woman. It's like, a woman is nothing but arm candy. Like, yeah, she's with me. And he's focused on the outside of the package versus the contents. And again, that's very disrespectful because yes, your outside is important. Attraction is obviously, as we spoke about many times, it's vital. It's very important. But the contents of the package, that's really what matter most. And so when you get a guy who's focused solely on the outside and not on the inside, he's respecting you. Now, the last way that a guy will disrespect you, and this is pretty common sense, but again, it's something I see all the time. And this one really breaks my heart. It's when there's a guy who's verbally and physically abusive. Now, I got to tell you, I've been a guy for a long time now, and I've been in relationships where I've wanted to become physically, like I've gotten so irate, so angry. Look, I'm Italian, I'm Taurus, I was born in the Bronx. I've got some, I've got a tough side to me. But no matter how much I've gotten to that point, there was always that little filter in my brain that said, you know what, don't go there. Okay? And that's the difference between a boy and a man. A man who's emotionally available, who's healthy, doesn't cross that line, doesn't cross that barrier. And again, quite honest, there are times where I've wanted to, that passion, that rage, that anger, whatever I was feeling in that moment just came bubbling to the surface, and that Italian temper came out. And I wanted to go there, but that filter stopped me. And so I would punch a wall. I would hit a door. I'm not proud of it. I haven't done that in a long time, but I'm just being quite transparent and helping you know the difference. Because any guy who's physically abusive to a woman is a guy that a woman should never be with. Okay. Now, verbally abusive, to me, that's just as bad. I was out recently and I saw a couple and, they were arguing in public and, and the guy's like, you fucking bitch. And I was like, wow, if this guy's doing this in public when the world is around, people to see, imagine what he's doing behind closed doors. And I always feel sorry for women like that because I'm like, what is going through a woman's mind where she chooses to be with someone like that? Again, there's always things going on underneath the surface behind the curtains, but it doesn't justify that. There is no reason for a man to be verbally and physically abusive to a woman. And to me, that is the ultimate sign of disrespect. And if you find yourself with a guy who's verbally or physically abusive, you really have to reconsider. I look at it this way. It's either a misdemeanor or it's a felony. A misdemeanor is, he said something, he was verbally abusive one time, and it's like, you know what? We got to talk about this because that shit doesn't fly. And if you do that again, that'll be the last time you do it. Where you're letting a guy know, look, you're human, you make a mistake, it's okay. We all do that. But a felony is that, you cross that line. You say or do something, be it out in public, amongst family members, amongst friends, or you cross the physical abuse barrier. And it's like, you know what? There's no going back from this one. And that's where you have to be strong. You have to stand in your power. You have to own your confidence and be clear in who you are and what kind of relationship you want. Realizing that if a guy crosses that line and goes to that level of disrespect, that it's time for you to walk away. So let's review these real quickly. The 5 ways that a guy will disrespect a woman is that he's dishonest, he treats you like a convenience, not a priority, he invalidates you and your opinion, he treats you like an object, not a person, and he's verbally or physically abusive. Now, I said earlier that I have a special gift for you. Now, I'm going to give you that gift in about 30 seconds, but before I do, I'm going to ask you to do three things. The same three things I always ask you to do. And that's to simply hit the like button below, to subscribe to our channel, and to share this with someone that you know who can benefit from it. And the reason I'm asking you to is I want you to help me spread this message. I want you to help me help others. You know, I'm limited to the number of people that I can reach, the number of people I can help. But by you sharing this with your friends and loved ones and liking it, it helps get our message out there, and it helps it get seen by a greater number of people. So if you can do that, I greatly appreciate it. Now, the last thing I promise you is that gift. And I'm a man of my word, so I'm going to deliver. I've recently written a special report called The 5 Types of Emotionally Unavailable Guys, where we go into detail about the types of guys that disrespect, dishonor, who invalidate. And I shine some light on why these guys do what they do, and more importantly, how you can identify the red flag. See, one of the biggest things that I see is that women get involved with the wrong guys for the wrong reasons, is they don't know how to identify the red flags. They allow their emotions and their chemistry and their hormones to take over, and they tend not to focus on spotting the red flags, which, from my experience, are always there. May not be there on the first date and the first conversation, but they show up really, really, really quickly. So this report will help you to identify those red flags, and will help you identify the guys who will not be good relationship partners. So if you've ever jumped into a relationship and then got involved with the guy and realized that, you know what, he was emotionally unavailable, he wasn't a good relationship partner, he was disrespectful, he was dishonest, whatever it may be, I strongly encourage you to get a copy of this report. It's free. It's simply my gift to you for simply watching this and being a member of the GPS for Love community. And I promise you, if you download this report, it's going to make this whole dating thing, this whole man thing, this whole relationship thing a lot easier, because it's going to help you identify the wrong guys before you get involved with them. So my gift to you, go ahead and download it. I'll see you in the next video. As always, an honor, privilege to be with you. Much love.